Well, hello everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and welcome to our Friday noon broadcast. The topic that we have today is learning a new skill. We're going to be learning about how to mind map your goals for 2019. Every Friday lunchtime, we try and take one step forward towards planning out our lives better and executing the things that we want to do, but procrastinate about. And so it's a fun time for all of us because we realize that, if we can just do it one step at a time, we're going to get there a lot faster. So, hi, Jody. Good to see you. The first thing I wanted to do is just to make sure that if you are new to the broadcast or watching on the replay, just know that on the replay at the bottom here, you're going to see from 00 to a certain time, news, views, and updates. That's because we're an extended family of people and we like to keep in touch with everybody and know how they're doing. And then we'll start the topic normally within about 15, 20 minutes, somewhere in that range. And that'll be the second time that you will see in the notes below. It'll say from that time onwards the topic of the day. So this is really our sort of format. And I just wanted to start by our thoughts and prayers. I wanted to send thoughts and prayers out to Jody. Jody, I'm still hoping that you're going to feel a lot better. I know that you've been a bit under the weather and that you still are moving forward with plans to believe that you're going to get a van. And that's really something that I want for you. And just keep that one in your top of your mind because it's going to come if you keep doing the right things. I wanted to give a shout out to Lauren. Lauren ended up with some issues. She gets ulcerated legs, I believe. Is that correct, Jody? And they flared up and she's back in hospital again. So all the best there, Lauren. We hope that you recover quickly. Other than that, I haven't heard an update from Erin or Alice. And in terms of my update, for those of you who are interested, I'm really quite happy with how I'm doing. I will be going off for blood tests. I think it's called an A1C blood test this coming week. And what that does is to find out how much glucose, for those of you who don't know, I've just been diagnosed with diabetes. And that's a self-inflicted wound. I did it to myself, too much sugar, not enough balance. And so the A1C, for those of you who might not know, is a test that they do to find out how much glucose is being stored in around my red blood cells, my hemoglobin. So that's a benchmark one against which they will then judge how I'm doing in terms of adjusting my eating habits and so forth. So that's a good one to know. And on the good side there, I just wanted to let you know it's the first Christmas in my lifetime that I can remember that I didn't put on weight at Christmas. I actually lost a pound. So you can understand that I worked hard at doing the right things. And the main thing is to stay motivated. If you're on the broadcast and would like to be updated on any time we do a broadcast, a couple of things I'd like you to do is, number one, is be aware that we have a web page, DearMamaSal.com. And on that, you'll find a tab that says our broadcast. So you can see anytime you want to when the next broadcasts are. And we run them pretty consistently, Friday lunchtime, Pacific time, 7 o'clock Friday evening, Pacific time, and then again at 3:30 on Sunday, Pacific time. And this week we did an extra one for Christmas. There was a special request to do so that's what we did. Birthdays today. I believe today is Glenn's birthday. For those of you who go back to the days of Glenn, I believe it's his birthday today, so happy birthday. In terms of news and congratulations, well, Marie got herself engaged this week. So that's a really wonderful thing to be able to report. And I don't know about the rest of you, but there's something just very joyous about somebody getting engaged. I just always love that when I can give out news like that, because it's so, I don't know, I've got a lot of romantics in the viewers, I know that. And it's just like, And they went all the way to Florida, and he proposed to her on a beach. And if you go to the Facebook page at some time, you'll see there's a picture of him proposing to her, or putting on the ring, actually, to be fair. We're going to be doing a workshop today. And what I wanted to do was to give you an opportunity to learn a skill. And the skill, if you don't know it already, is of mind mapping. But I also wanted to make sure that we start looking at what do we want to achieve in the coming year. And so I want to give Jody, who's my admin here and does a great job of looking after me during the broadcast. I've got a time slot here of just 6 minutes that we can start on. Jody, if you wouldn't mind. And the idea of doing this broadcast is really because this is one skill that if you've got it, you can basically plan out any event, any goal, anything you want in a very simple way and keep it just on one small page, maybe in your day timer for those of you who have day timers that you can add your own pages to, or you can, stick it into your whatever day planner you use with a bit of Scotch tape, removable Scotch tape, and just update it every now and then. And so it's really very, very simple. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you mine. And then I'm going to discuss it so that we can do anybody else's. Excuse me, I was in need of that coffee. But before, I just wanted to read you something that a friend of mine sent me during the Christmas season, and I thought some of you would really relate to it. It's a poem that was written by Mario de Andrade, I think that's how he pronounces it, who lived from 1893 to 1945. So long gone. But listen to this and tell me what you think. I counted my years and I realized that I have less time to live by than I've lived so far. I feel like a child who won a pack of candies. At first, he ate them with pleasure. But when he realized there was little left, he began to taste them intensely. I have no time for endless meetings where statutes, rules, procedures, and internal regulations are discussed, knowing that nothing will be done. I no longer have the patience to stand absurd people who, despite their chronological age, have not grown up. My time is too short. I want the essence. My spirit is in a hurry. I do not have much candy. In fact, I do not have much candy in the package anymore. I want to live next to humans, very really realistic people who know how to laugh at their mistakes, who are not inflated by their own triumphs, and who take responsibility for their actions. In this way, human dignity is defended, and we live in truth and honesty. It is the essentials that make life useful. I want to surround myself with people who know how to touch the heart of those whom hard strokes of life have learned to grow with sweet touches of the soul. Yes, I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry to live with the intensity that only maturity can give. I do not intend to waste any of these remaining desserts. I am sure they will be exquisite, much more than those I've eaten so far. My goal is to reach the end satisfied and at peace with my loved ones and my conscience. We have two lives, and the second one begins when you realize you only have one. How about that? I don't know about you, but that was just like, that really, in a nutshell, describe the place that I feel I'm in at the moment. So yeah, I thought wow as well. I'll if you remind me, Jody, I will put up the link to that poem, if there is one. I presume it's probably online somewhere, and not just a link to my email where I got it. All right, so here we go. If you've got a piece of paper handy, you might want to be doing this exercise on the side. Probably a pen or a pencil would be a good idea. So this is how you start. You start off with something quite simple. Let me just get my pen here. And what I did was I did some of my goals and then I expanded them, so hopefully you'll be able to see. I've got to get underneath here so I can see what we're doing. So you start off with, put 2019 in the center here. And then look at the different areas of your life. Finances, education, your home life. This is my DearMamaSal life. I think that travel. Yep, that's travel. This is really funny because this is reading backwards for me. Oh, yeah, friends, family, and health. So the main thing is to get these bubbles, if you like, written onto your piece of paper. And the reason that you need them there is to remember that you need to keep all of those in balance. If you want to live a balanced life, that's how you do it. You actually have all of these in balance. One of the things that I find with most people who overwhelm is they spend too much time. For example, if I spend too much time on DearMamaSal, can you understand that my family and friends will lose out because they won't see much of me, or I won't be looking after my finances properly or my home properly? I think you can probably see that. So the trick of doing this is to try and keep your life in a little bit more balance. And what I do is every day I open up these little bubbles and I try and work one thing in each bubble if I can. That's sort of how I try and stay in balance. All right. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to show you how I extended the one bubble. Okay, and this is my one bubble for my health, which you all know about. And here are some of the things that I've got coming up for me in the near future. So what I do is under health, I then put these subcategories. Does that make sense? So this is like, I've got a CAT scan coming up, I've got blood tests coming up. Do you understand? So these are all important parts that I've got coming up in the near future. So that's why I've got them on the bubble. Then when you've got that done, then I do another extension and I go, well, how do I get these things done? And I start putting out even more information about how to get those things done. All right, so example, if I want to improve my health, and if I want to get control of my diabetes, I'm going to need to control my weight, my diet, and my exercise. So now I'm 3 levels out from my original bubble, if you like. And then you do it all again. Look at this one. Yeah, that is the right way. Okay, so now this really exploded because what I've got here is under my weight, I've got my sort of current weight and what I want to try and achieve. Let's see what else I've got here so I can see. Oh yeah, I know I've got to see a dietitian, but I've got to wait for the doctor to tell me when that is. I've got to wait for the blood test to be done. And then, oh, my exercise. What I decided was I get bored with exercise very easily. And therefore, what I started to do, and some of you may know this, I've started to walk from, I live in British Columbia. And I've started a walk from the area where I live, which is in a place called White Rock, and I'm going to walk to Calgary. And, literally half a mile at a time. And so all my steps that I do every day and the exercise I get, again, I've got a great program that I'm using, and it actually shows you how far you've walked. And it's quite exciting. So I've got the CAT scan on January the 17th. That's good. And I've got to wait for the results and then find out what the actions are that I need to do, if any. And this is the blood test I was telling you about. And that will go, all these things will come back to the two doctors, one my specialist and my primary. So, does that make sense, how to do that? And it's actually an incredibly easy way to do anything. If you're trying to organize your meal prep for the week, if you want to do any task whatsoever, I try and open up one of these. So here's another one that I started to work on, which was on education. I love to learn. All right. And I knew that I wanted to learn a new software. I wanted to read some more. And I'm one of those people that I learn things by actually doing them. I don't know if any of you relate to that. It's my way of learning is I get some base information. And if you like, I learn things by failure. I try it and it doesn't work. Then I will research that thing that didn't work. And then I'll start again and get to that point until it doesn't work. And then I'll research the next step. I don't know if any of you relate to that. And if you do, let me know. So in terms of learn new software, being me, I didn't import one new one. I imported 3. One is Doodly. And Doodly is the one that I do the graphics with, the guy with the handwriting. I don't know if any of you have seen any of that I've done, but I love it. It's such fun to work with, but I'm learning how to do it at the moment. The other one is called FreeMind, and that is the program that actually does this mind mapping. Normally, I would just do this by hand. And by the way, in the days when I was a speaker, I did every speech like this. I mapped it out like this. In a speech, I know I want to have an introduction and 5 main points. And so that's what I would have, the word speech in the center and the title of whatever it was. And then I have introduction. What did I want to say in the introduction? And then I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bubbles, and then the outro. What was I going to say to leave? The other thing was I would number the bubbles in order of importance to me, because sometimes I'd be put up to speak. I think that I was meant to speak for 3/4 of an hour, and they'd put me up and say, you've only got 30 minutes. So when you're a speaker, you need to know which one of those do I need to drop, and do I need to drop 2? And if you've got this mind map and you know roughly how long it takes to do each topic, you can just pull 2 out. The only person that knows that you pulled 2 out is you. So that's how I used to do it. My third software is the one where I'm walking to Calgary. It's absolutely magical. What it does is it literally interacts with my Fitbit watch, and it takes the steps that I do every day and automatically plots them on a path that I want to take. And so that's really fun to do. Now, I just wanted to say that Lauren has decided to support me, and she's just gone into hospital, but hi, Nada. But when she comes back, she's going to be doing a little bit more of this. But she's agreed to do the journey, her journey. And her journey is, I think, of 150 miles from where she lives in Tasmania down to Hobart, which is the capital of Tasmania. That's the little island at the bottom of Australia. Now, that would be impressive, just that she was willing to join me and download the program and do it with me. But understand, she's doing it in a wheelchair. And I thought that was just so beautiful that she would do that. Then I've got, what am I reading? I've got 3 books that I'm still working on. And what am I learning by doing? And that's the 3 software programs. Hi, Erin. So those are the 3 software programs that I'm working on. Now, they're taking quite a bit of my time to learn them, but that's how you learn things. That's how I learned how to do YouTube. It's how I learned to do absolutely everything. All right, and so if you look at my big picture, this is of everything. Just those 2 lobes alone take up that much space. Now, you understand you can do these by hand, you can do them with pencil, so you can rub them out and change them and do whatever. But I must admit, there's the fact that there's a free program that you can do it with. You need to be a little bit computer savvy to be able to manipulate it all. But if any of you do download it, it's called FreeMind, FreeMind. And what it does is it frees what's in your mind and puts it down on paper. So what I wanted to do is go back to the beginning, if you like. And how many of you are willing to do some of your goals for 2019 with me, just so that I can help you? And I need a volunteer for this so that we can work with it. Sure. Okay, Nada. So did you see the beginning of this? So you need to put the year, 2019, and put your name in it, your goals for 2019. And then just put your main categories on there. And the main categories are health, family, friends, travel, home, education, and finances. Now, what I realize I haven't got in here, but for some of you, it's going to be a really important bubble. That would be spiritual. All right. If you are somebody that lives your life around a church functions and so forth, you probably want to put that. I would probably put that in around my friends, because I think it sort of comes into there, but it also comes into my mental health if I am a spiritual person. All right, so what does Erin say here? I'd like to download a couple of books to read so I can learn something. I'm just trying to figure out what subject matter I would like to do. Yes, and you know something, it is remarkably cheap to do that. First of all, you know that you can get all sorts of free books on Open, I think it's called Open University. Which really surprised me, how many free books you can get. And, it's like, if you can get them for free, why wouldn't you? So I think it's Open University. Anyway, I'll check it when I finish. I know that Jody will take a note for me so that I can put that link in on the notes so that people can find it. The other thing is, if you want to, it really is incredibly cheap to download a book from Kindle. It's like a couple of bucks. And I don't know about you, but that's a pretty good price for a best-selling book. The next book I'm going to add to my list, and Jody, please make a note of this so I remember to put it on my chart, is I want to get Michelle Obama's book. And that's that I'm also going to add in. Now, I found it quite interesting yesterday to find out that Michelle Obama is considered to be the most respected woman in the States. And for the first year in decades, she has overtaken Oprah. As when people are asked, which woman in the United States do you most respect? It's always been Oprah. And for this year, for the first time, it's Michelle Obama, which I thought was incredible. And the most respected man in the United States, have a guess. You know, do anybody want to guess who the most respected man is in the United States this year? No? All right. Yes, it is, Jody. You're right. It's Barack Obama. So they are both together. They are the most respected people. All right. So Nada, have you got your main lobes in, main bubbles, if you like, into your map? And if so, I'd like you to pick one of them so that we can work with you. And what will happen is, as we talk through it, we're going to be helping other people, Nada. So I really appreciate the fact that you're willing to do this with me. So pick any one of these topics and include spiritual, if that's what you need in your mind map. And yeah, I think I've got it in one of my notes somewhere, Jody, so I just need to find it, and I will. So Nada and Jody, if you'd like to pick a subject as well that maybe you haven't worked on quite enough or that you want to work on, I'm happy to do it with you. Erin, let me know if you want to work on one. And what happens is, as I work with you, it'll inspire other people. And that's what as you know, I like to be able to, okay, mental health. Okay, your health. So do you understand health is your main lobe? Okay, let's do it this way. Okay, so then you've got your goal over here, and then health is your main lobe. And then what you would do is just draw out, what other sort of health is there? Would you agree we also have physical health? Okay, so you might want to, if you can think of any other areas that in terms of health that you would like to work on. So now you've got your mental health. All right, so what would you like to do? Do you have a goal that you can discuss and I can write on here in terms of your mental health? What is your goal for the coming year? So what you would do is just put your goal. Oh, not to get not to get quite as frustrated. Okay, so control your what? Your emotion, right? Because we know if it's emotional, it's our problem, not somebody else's. Okay. So do you understand what I'm doing here, Nada? Okay, and less anxiety. That's good. Anything else? So now what we're going to do, I'm just going to wrap this off because, you want to be more successful in terms of your health or in general. Because if you want to be more successful in general, that would be a different lobe. That would be one of your main goals. Okay? All right. So you understand that you would put down here, and this would be success. Okay, so you'd put that down as a different one, but we're just working on the mental at the moment. So somewhere here, I've got what I need. Okay, so you got this idea. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and put them as the bubble, because I had to write this pretty big so everybody can see it, right? So now let me put these here, because what we're going to continue to do, Nada, is to lose the cap, is to continue to branch out, all right? And you can put it anywhere on your sheet of paper. But what we had was control your emotions. Okay, and we also had less anxiety, which also, you understand, those are both about controlling your emotions. All right, so here's the really easy thing to do, Nada. What you do is you ask yourself the famous questions. Hang on a second. I just want to write them down. Okay, so somewhere in your life, all right, you write down who, what, why, where, when, and how. All right, and keep those questions on a piece of paper for whenever you're doing your mind mapping. Hi, Kerry. So do you understand? So now we've got this far. So who needs to control their emotions, Nada? Okay, so all right, so you understand the only person that needs to control the emotion is you. What other people do is not your business, right? So you just put your name here. And then you go, watch. The second question is what? What do you need to do to control your emotions, Nada? And by the way, if any of you can chime in with some suggestions for Nada, that would probably be helpful. What do you need to do if you want to control your emotion better? I just want to get the cap to my... So can I get some suggestions for Nada? What sort of things can she do to control her emotions? What do you do to control yours? The first thing I found is to be kind to yourself. But being kind to yourself, does that control your emotion? Ah, there we go, Nada. Well done. All right. So to practice breathing techniques, to take personal time when you start feeling stressed. Yes, to walk away. Those are all things that you're quite right. Well done. I'm very proud of you. All right. So you understand, you can just put those answers like this on your branch. All right, good. Who, what, why? Why do you want to control your emotion, Nada? And what you do is you put another branch out here. Why? And this is your reason for doing it, your why. One of the questions that Sean Cannell taught me about doing YouTube or whatever, he said, you got to know what your why is. Why do you do what you do? Right? So, you know, a lot of YouTubers do YouTube for money. And it was quite surprised me. My why wasn't about money. Yes, exactly. Your reason for doing this work is because you want to control your own happiness and you don't want to hurt anybody anymore. Now, you understand that that's not totally within your control. Some people just get hurt because you actually breathe. Have any of you found that? You know, I walk into the room and I can upset some people just by walking into the room. So but on the whole, you know, to be happier, that is a really good why. All right. So where do you need to control your emotions? Do you find that there are certain situations where you get emotional and it causes you problems? So the where would be, have you got any locations or situations where this happens to you? Yeah, that's right. I used to find that family situations, well done. Okay, exactly. So then you've got to say to yourself, all right, fine. I know that that's where I have the problem. Who, what, why, where, when? Yes, Erin. And we were just saying that the first thing you do to control your emotions is to breathe and count to 10. Hello there, Manon. All right. So do you understand here the where and when do you need to control your emotions? All right. And I would say the when would be whenever they start getting triggered. All right. So we just put it in there. And then how? How do you control your emotions? Well, we know we're going to breathe. I would say the most important thing to understand, hi, Jamie, the most important thing to understand about controlling your emotions would be to know that you do it to yourself. All right. It is your reaction to the external that is creating the stress and the anxiety. And by the way, the same thing about walking away doesn't always fix things, but you're not escalating it. All right, so let me give you an example of that one, Nada, right? When you're thinking about that, a lot of people, you know, at Christmas time, they've got certain family members that just really drive them insane. It's not that you can totally avoid them, but you don't have to spend the whole time talking to them, all right? You can, you know, you remember Linda and her 10-minute rule. Maybe you spend 10 minutes just breathing through the fact that they, just drive you insane. And then you go, oh, excuse me, I just have to go and talk to John for a second, you know, and then excuse yourself and go away. Does that make more sense, Nada? It's not that you will ever get totally away from these people. It is the fact that you just give yourself a break to lessen the frustration. So when you do that, Nada, do you understand when you're dealing with your less anxiety, it's the same answers, right? Who has the anxiety? You do. Where do you, who, what does the anxiety do to you? That's the question I would ask, all right, under the what. And so what you do is you keep just building and building and building. Does this make sense, Nada? But when you've got that sorted out in your mind, what I would do is ask yourself, what one thing, the one thing that you would like to achieve this year about controlling your emotions? Give me one goal that you would like to achieve. So the who, what, why, where, when, and how, I'm running those questions through my mind the whole time so that I can fill this out in a constructive way. So let me ask you, is there anybody else that wants to control their emotions or their anxiety better in 2019? And one of the things that I would recommend you do is to pick, Manon does, okay? All right, so Nat is saying not to yell and get angry at people you love. Absolutely. So if you come from a place of love, okay, let me write that on there for you. Now, this is difficult. Okay, but if you can, in the situations when you start to get emotionally charged, if you can turn it around and go, wait a minute, what if I come from a place of love? And you'll be amazed how many times you can turn that around. Jody, you saw me do that yesterday. And so that is, it's amazing how it lowers the temperature, if you like. Very good. Yes, that's another good idea, Manon, all right, which is have a memory, a good memory of that person. Very, very useful. All right. And give me one more thing that you can do. Thanks for the tea and coffee. I'm not allowed to eat the cookies. Well, what have I got in the fridge? Okay, so one more. Give me one more that you can do. Oh, breathe. Let's put breathe in here, all right? Because that's a good one. Okay, so these are all excellent coping skills. What I would do is I would set myself a little competition, Nada. Okay, I would take all of these. Hang on. I would take all of these together and then I'd have a little competition. And I'd see how many bonus points I could give myself this month, and then break that down and go, how many bonus points can I give myself this week, or even today, or this hour? And, make this into something that you can literally go, oh, I took control there, and I took control there. All right. And I took control there. So I gave myself 3 bonus points. As you may know, we're helping somebody. Hi, Linda. We're helping somebody at the moment act in a more adult way. All right. So what I keep doing is giving her adult points when she does something that comes from an adult place rather than a kid victim place. All right. So what I keep doing is giving her the bonus points that because we all like to improve. Now, for those of you who know that I am doing this walking thing, wait 1 second, let me show you that, because there's something about having, how many of you like instant gratification? Yes, I would do that, Manon, absolutely, yes. Give yourself bonus points like in a diary or a tracking system, if you like spreadsheets. Let me show you how I'm rewarding myself for my exercise. So just so that you can see this is like, I know exercise isn't my thing, well, it wasn't. It's about to be. Just bear with me while I just sign into this so you can see. So I knew what I needed if I was going to help myself, was I needed to get inspired to do this. Just bear with me. Here we go. I'm going to log in. And what I did was I said to myself, because this thing, the bonus, we all like bonus points, right? And that's what I wanted. So here is my goal. My goal is to walk from White Rock Pier all the way to Calgary. Hang on, let me do it this way. Don't do that to me. Sorry, when I touch the screen, I hate it when the tablet does that. Wait. I can do this. Don't be. There we go. All right. Come on. I keep touching the screen. So what I did was I started this mission to walk all the way to Calgary. Does that make sense? Yeah, my tablet really. Here we go, hopefully. If I can learn not to touch it, it would be great. There we go. Pray with me. I will not be beaten, you know that. All right, do you see how far? I'm going to walk right across British Columbia. How many of you think I can do that? All right. Now, is that a pretty big goal? But the interesting thing is I'm doing it just bear with me. It's my tablet again. Okay, I'm doing it in stages. And the first stage is for me to walk to Abbotsford. And that's about 25 miles away. Get the idea? So this is like on my mind map, I've got these little stages going on. But this week, which is really cute. Hang on a second. I'm challenged at the moment. Okay, here we go. Just a little bit more. A little bit more. This week, I'm trying to get to a place called Campbell River Store. Can you see it? And you can see I'm not that far away. So each time I go out, I'm taking one more step or a series of steps towards Campbell River Store. Hang on a second, where are they? So there it is. I'm not that far away. So how many of you enjoy? Yes, my Fitbit records my steps, and that integrates with this program, and it automatically puts them in every day. How many of you would love to do something like that? You see, and I want to thank Jody, because this is where teamwork really works. Because I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to find it. And Jody found it for me. I just said to Jody, because Jody is great at researching things. I said, Jody, I know there must be such a program. I want a program that will do that, take my steps and start plotting so I can walk, across British Columbia. I think it took Jody all of 10 minutes maximum, and that was probably because she needed to grab a coffee or something first to find me the program. It's called My Virtual Mission. Let me type that for you. Okay. So now then, what do you think, Nada? Are there any programs or are there any, how many of you like doing quizzes and things? So if I were trying to improve my emotional control, how many of you know that on my big sheet, hang on a second, let me get it out. Hang on, I've got to get the sheet where it's on. Okay, so what's the first one on the list of books I'm reading is Emotional Intelligence. Nada, Rose's name is Kim, just so you know. So this is what I'm doing. I'm reading about emotional intelligence because I want to not only do better myself, but I want to give you guys some clues. Now, emotional intelligence is a pretty heavy book, but you could be doing questionnaires online. You could be reading. You could be reading all sorts of. How many of you found that sometimes reading a children's book really helps you? Because most children's books have a really good theme to them, about how to cope. And so, even if you decide to watch, I'm reading a book called Emotional Intelligence. Hang on a second. I've got to get it out again. I just put it away. See it here? And what I want to do is to start doing a series for you guys about, as I read the book, is just creating little, I was going to do little exercises for you to show you what I've learned, if you'd be interested. All right, so Nada, have you got a better grasp of what you want to do in terms of your controlling your emotions this year? Because if so, I'm going to erase this and then help somebody else. Yes, I'm going to do a summary of what I'm inclined to do is to take what I've learned and then put it into an easier way to understand it. Okay, great. Now, is there anybody else who wants some help with one of their goals? All right, so your choices are. Yes, I reward myself for all sorts of things, but not with food anymore. Okay, so this, so anybody got an area of their life that they'd like to work on for their goals? Now, I just want to tell you that some goals that I have put on my goal sheets have taken me years to achieve. I first saw, for example, that writing one? I saw that couple of years ago, and I thought, that is so neat. I'd love to be able to do that. And I've had it in my mind. What are the areas? I've got finances, education, your home life, your spiritual life, your travel, your friends, your family, and your health. So, but you can have any area you like. It doesn't matter. Those are just the main ones that I have. Okay, Erin, Jody, can you remember what she wanted to work on? Now that's a really good point. So you see, Manol's just reminded me that I've got a book that I've already written, but I wanted to get it into a format that would work on YouTube or work on my website. So let me show you what I would do here, Manon. Do you see the DearMamaSal lobe here? Little bubble here. So what I would do is just add the book in here. Make sense? And then I'd go, okay, I know I need to do something with the book. What's the next step for the book? Start typing again. Make sense? And then what you do is that as you keep doing this, and by the way, if you keep it done by hand, I would really recommend that you do it in pencil, because what you can do is once you've achieved that. Let's say I want to do 10 pages by end February. Let's just say that's my goal. Okay, do you understand? I'm just extending this out now. Now, let's say I get to the end of February and I've done those 10 pages. Do you understand? I can just erase it. I can just take it off my mind map. Yeah, one of your goals might be, to have a one-on-one with somebody who can hit you with a 2x4 every now and then. Yes. Or, Manon, in your case, maybe it's travel. There are all sorts of things if you're traveling, right, that you may want to have, who is it you want to see? What is it you want to do? Why do you want to do these things? Where do you want to go? What, why, where, when? So start planning out the time and how you're going to do all of that. So, all right, now we've done anxiety. So has somebody got another goal that isn't anxiety, just so that we can show people how to do it? All right, so Kimmy's working on not being sick. How many people would like to sort of do some work around that? I want to tell you, Manon, it is a great way to plot things out, because it really helps you see, what you need to do. What do I need to, keep asking yourself who, what, why, where, when. For example, what do you need to take with you? That's your packing list. Who are you going to see? That's, so you can plot that out if you can. Why are you going in the first place? What's your why? Why do you want to do that trip, all right? I believe you already know the when, but now it's the when of the different bits that you can put in. Yes, you plan your trips on 21 different sheets of paper. How would you like to have it on 1 or 2? Because that's how you can do it. And that's why I wanted to teach you. All right, so let's do the sick thing here. Let's say that one of your goals is health, and one of your goals around health is to, what was it that Kim said? She said, hang on, I just want to see what she said. Yeah, can't see it now. But I think she said something about working her way around improving a sick thing, right? So let's put less sick. Would that work for you, Kim? Or let's say that you might not be able to control that. So how about, let's think of a positive rather than a negative. Because I don't want to put sick as the goal. How about, what would the opposite of less sick be? Healthier? But what we'll do is we'll work with Kim on it. Does healthier work for you, Kimmy, if I use that as I like to try and keep the the lobes positive if I can. Okay, healing my body. There you go. That's good. Maybe Kimmy likes that better. Let me know which one you'd like to work on. Yes, I quite agree, Nada. If we put the word sick down here, then that's what the mind is going to hear, and it's going to produce that. So that's why I want to make a more positive goal. All right, so improving my health. How about that? That works for everybody, I would think, because it doesn't matter what your problem is. All right, so let's put improve. That's what I've got on mine, I think, as well. Okay, so everybody, if you wanted to improve your health, what steps could you take? And Kim, try and come up with, Kim says I could take the right meds. And she said she's already doing that, I believe. All right, so she's already tried that, and she's tried naturopath. Okay, and she's already tried that. All right. All right, so that's a good point. So what Kimmy's saying is she's beginning to wonder, and that happens to all of us, whether in fact the diagnosis was wrong. So maybe you want a second opinion. How would you do that? Okay, so you see that, Kim? Whoops. No, you can't see that. There you go. Now, Jody also said she wants to do things to support your immune. Now, good. These are all great ideas, and I hope some of you are writing these down. Yes, good point. So Manon is saying improve your diet. Good. Anything else? Oh, yeah, better sleep. You're talking to somebody who got 3 hours sleep last night. Okay, so you agree that these are all things that you could have on your list? Now, because you probably need some more room, by the way, each time you get to check one of these off, you give yourself a bonus point because you know that you are working in the right direction, all right? But I'm going to just remove those now because she's already tried those and they're not working for her. So what's the next one on her list? Oop. Get a second opinion. Have you tried that, Kimmy, already? Have you been to another doctor or asked your doctor whether... So you've been to lots of them. All right. So, and what are they all telling you the same thing? Your diet could be better. Okay, good. So here's my thing. If you know that you can start working on that, then let's do that. All right. So let's take these other ones out and we go the one thing that Kim's going to work on this year or this month or this day, doesn't matter how you do this, is her diet. Okay, good one, Kim. All right. So Kim, what can you do to improve your diet? I'm amazed. I'm amazed how quickly my body is adjusting to my changed diet, by the way, Kim, just so that you know. I've started working on reducing my carbs. That's the one thing that I could do easily. All right, so she could, let's give her some options. All right, I'm going to add lower carbs. And then we're going to give her lots of choices because that's what we do here with DearMamaSal. We're getting vitamins. You could stop dry, no fry food. Good. All right, so any other suggestions? Okay, so do you understand what I'm doing here, Kim? I would start plotting this out. So let's presume, I don't know what GERD is well, but I got a feeling it's a gastro thing. Am I correct on that? One thing that Jody taught me is that if I eat anything that's slightly sugary, I immediately then eat something that's a protein. And Jody, I can't thank you enough for that. It's amazing. It's like I go, I had something. It's an acid reflux. Thank you. We all learned something. Those of us who didn't know. Okay. And that is why Kimmy said she didn't taste it. Now, what she meant was that acid reflux is inclined to be bile. I think this is correct. Is bile coming back up, and you can taste when that happens. Good one. Okay, so have you been to a gastrologist? You know, I find that quite often to sit in front of a doctor, I did this when I was trying to find out what was wrong with me, Kim. I literally, you know, he said, first of all, it's sleep apnea. Okay, fine, let's fix that. So we did. And I'm going, okay, I still feel weak. I still feel drained, very, very tired all the time. What else could it be? Right. And then he said, well, it could be diabetes. I said, well, you know, let's test that. And, you know, so you just need to just keep going, Kim, what else could it be? All right. Because, you know, I don't think doctors are perfect. What about you guys? I think that they really spend an awful lot of time. I wouldn't want to be a doctor. I really wouldn't. You know, it must be so difficult. It really must be so difficult to be a doctor. You know, patients give you a bare minimum of information and you're meant to be able to tell what's wrong with them. All right. So Kim's saying that she's had her nose, her throat, and her stomach all scoped. Okay, so they didn't find anything. That's a good thing. Now, I don't know what that gastro thing is. Paresis, gastroparesis. And I don't know what PA is in the States. So forgive me, that's an abbreviation. All right, but do you get the idea that, you know, what happens is most people just need some more ideas of what can they do. And my reality is, could Kimmy start lowering her carbs? Absolutely. All right, so that is I'm amazed how quickly I have cut down on carbs. I also, Kim, just so that you know, I actually cook my meals in 1 cup amounts. In other words, if I cook something, I will then take the leftovers and put them in 1 cup measures. Let's say I've made shepherd's pie, all right? Or, the mince for shepherd's pie. I will cook up a lot of mince and put all the vegetables in it. I normally do equal amounts of vegetables to meat. And I cook it all up and, let it simmer for a long time and do, so everything sort of cross flavors. And then I put it into 1 cup measures. So one of the things I've really found is if you want to lose weight, for example, it's a really good idea to not just change your diet, but really watch your portion control. Jody, for example, and I started food prepping. Beth was talking to us about doing food prepping. And yeah, okay, Kim, I'm going to come back. I just want to quickly give people this reality. And what we did is we started food prepping together in different ways. And what we found is that we really miss it when we run out of our prepped food. That is an interesting improvement. So we found out that when you run out of prepped food, you start taking the wrong food. But if you already have a little container with the right food in it, and I have some that are snacks and some that are meals and so forth. Manon saying, when I had the back issues and my doctor kept saying I was faking it. I learned a lot by talking to people in the waiting room. They gave me tools and names of specialist doctors. Good. All right. So Kimmy also does portion control and doesn't eat after 7. So what I would start doing, Kim, is almost doing a mind map of what you have done. All right. So when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, well, you want to improve your diet, you go, okay, these are the improvements I've already made to my diet. Now, what else? Because that's not working for me. What else can I do? What am I missing here? The other thing I found by doing the portion control, I made something the other day and I took 2 cups because I thought I was hungry. Jody, I don't know if you found this as well. I took 2 cups worth of it because it was really tasty and I thought I was really hungry. I got about halfway through, which was the 1 cup, and I realized I'd had enough. Yeah, I could have finished it. Jody, I don't know if you found this as well. I could have finished it, but I chose not to. I just went, something? I think I've had enough of this. Whereas in the old days, I wouldn't stop until I'd finished the whole lot. Now, is it going to make a difference? We will find out. That's the interesting thing. We're going to find out whether it makes a difference. Yes, that's another thing you can do, Kimmy, right? And you can add that onto your, a thing, make a list of what you are doing so that you can find out, and talk to your doctor about it and go, I'm really serious here. I need to find out what's wrong. And you've given me these suggestions. I've done all of those and it's still not making a difference. So what else could it be? And what else can I try? All right, so Manon is saying, yes, I actually eat out of mason jars half the time because I know that is 1 cup, right? So I actually take the 1 cup, turn it upside down and eat that. So I don't have to worry about a smaller plate or whatever. The other thing I do, and I don't know if any of you do this, I have really started to increase my intake of leafy greens. For example, I was cutting up cauliflower the other day, Jody, and I know that you do a lot of vegetables that you grill, but I was cutting up a cauliflower and, the leaves of a cauliflower, I actually cut the leaves up and put them into a mason jar for adding to stir fry, because those leaves are green leaves. Green leaves are good for you, and it's like, it actually tastes great. And so I also started buying more kale. And when I make a salad, I just take little bits of kale and I drop them in so I don't really notice the taste. Yeah, Jodi's saying she's eating half of what she did previously. Awesome, Jodi. I'm really noticing a difference now. You understand that this is the first Christmas in my life that I can remember where I lost weight over Christmas. And did I have ginger snaps? Yep, I made them and they were awesome. But I just had 1 or 2 a day. And, did I have shortbread? I've had 2 already, and I've got a treat for tonight that I'm having a piece of shortbread. And so, what I'm doing is I'm not depriving myself of too much. And by the way, as soon as I've had that sugar, I will immediately go and get a stringable cheese and eat that to balance out the sugar. I'm managing to keep my carbs pretty much on the 40% range at the moment. This is just in my first week. Jodi, where do I need to get it to? I know that my dietitian will tell me, or my doctor will, but just to give me a benchmark of what am I aiming for. And you see, I don't want to cut out everything in my life. I have no wish to do that. Why would I do that to myself? I want to do whatever it takes so that I can have a little bit of anything that I want when I want it, but I just got to learn to do it better. All right, so Kimmy's saying, I'm craving salt. And you have been telling your doctors that. And they need to be watching your kidneys. All right, so how often do they do a urine test on you? All right, so Jodi tries to keep her carbs to 30%, or 30 carbs, not percent, 30 carbs per meal. So that's 3 meals, that's 120. Oh yeah, we did this. So I think I'm trying to keep my total carbs down to 200 at the moment. Manon, I am not depriving myself of anything. The way that I would eat chocolate, just so that you know, Manon, is, let me just show you. Hang on a second. Okay, so these are little boxes of goodies that I've made up for people, and they've got some shortbread in them. They've got some ginger snaps in them that I made. They've got some chocolate in them. They've got a little sponge cake in them. All right, so you can see that. Now, I will systematically eat my way. It's got some pretzels in it, some yogurt-covered pretzels. I will systematically eat my way through this box, Manon, I will maybe make a lunch and put 1 pretzel in it. Does that make sense to people? Or maybe 2 of the kisses I will put in with my lunch. When I open up the cake, I will cut it into 4 and just put a little bit in with one of the meals, so that when I finish my meal, I can have a little bit of this, maybe even half. All right, so Kez is saying, I've heard from watching a morning show that most people mix up their hungry signal when they're thirsty. A very good point. Very good point. Yes. One of the things that I need on my list, thank you for mentioning that, because now I'm going back to my list. See, this is where I want to show you what happens. All right, so let me just go back to my list and find my pen. Whoops. No, that won't do it. All right, so what I'm going to do here is put very good point, right? So I just that this one, I need to add this to my mind map. I need to add water. I'm not getting enough water. Thank you very much for that. Yes, Manon. So what I'm doing is instead of opening up this box as I used to and eat all of this, which I could do. How many of you could eat all of this in one go? The chocolate, the shortbread, the ginger snap, and the sponge cake. How many of you could consume that in one go? Because I want to tell you, I could. But the interesting thing is when you start mind mapping it out, you realize, okay, this is way too much. I need to cut down on this. Hot water with lemon, yes. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Manon says she can. All right, now in my fridge, I have this container. It's the mason jar. All right, now if I shake it up, you'll see what I've got in here is 1 teaspoon of turmeric and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, right? And what I do is I shake it up like this and let it settle a bit. And then when I have water, I will take about 1/4 of this and add it to my water. You don't taste it, but I know it's there. If I make it a bit strong, I'll put in a splash of ocean spray, cranberry, just maybe a teaspoon, just to take the edge off it. Right? So this is about like 1 step at a time. I'm walking my way to Calgary. Just adding a little bit of goodness to your water will also help a great deal. The other thing that I'm doing, actually, I've got to give myself a bonus point. What I did, and please forgive me because this will probably gross some of you out because I noticed that some things do, but I actually started to keep a water bottle in my washroom. And when I go to the washroom, I look at it this way, you know, like I'm offloading some water, I take in some water. Does that make sense? So I sit there and offload, and at the same time, I'm replenishing the water. So, and I found that I can drink a liter just doing that. Does that make sense to anybody? Just because it's there. You know, I literally just grab it and go, okay, fine. Before I go back to my next thing, I'm going to take 8 big gulps. It's on a suck thing. So yeah, I take 8 really large amounts of water in. Now, yeah, it's, you know something, Manon, it's quite amazing how much it has improved the amount of water that I drink. Well, exactly, Jody, because, you know, at my age, you know how many times I visit that room. You know? And the other thing, for those of you who've got, how many of you have got a Fitbit? If you want to know, if any of you want to know how stressed your life is, think about how long you spend in the washroom. How many of you just rush in there, do what you have to do, and rush out again? I've actually also during the day, I know this sounds really strange, I've also started to charge up my tablet in my washroom. And the reason for that is while I'm there, I actually force myself to stay a bit longer, and maybe I do some more goal setting, or I think of ideas for future broadcasts or whatever. And then what I do is I have a little memo thing here, all right, where I've got little things that I need to add on to my task list. And I'm literally thinking about that, and I take the time to not rush in and rush out. Oh, Manon, you have a glass of water in your bathroom. Well, I decided not to have a glass of water because I thought maybe the germs would get in there too quickly. That's why I have a bottle, you know what I mean? A suck bottle of water in there, so that I thought that would be slightly healthier. But whatever it works for you. So does this give you all some ideas? Is there anybody else who's got an area of their life that they'd like to work on that we haven't covered yet, just so that we can do another one? Manon, do you want to do travel one? Or one part of a travel one, even? Speak now, people. It is your moment to yourself. Oh, so for Manal, she finds it's more motivating to have it in a glass. That's wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so let's do, have you got a packing list going? So she's going, this is how I would do a mind map. I would think about, all right, I would think about the areas of clothes. All right, do you need a coat? All right, oh, let's have a look. First of all, do you need warm clothes? Do you need mid-range clothes? And do you need some light clothes? All right, light, so that you can have layers. Okay. Oh, you want to set a budget? Manon, do you want to work on the budget or the packing? Hi, Beth. Manon, let me know which one we can best help you with. Okay, you want a budget for transportation when you're where you are, right? Where you're going. Are you allowed to tell people where you're going yet? I haven't told anybody anything because you didn't say I could discuss it. All right, so I'm presuming you don't mean the flight. You know what the flight's going to cost you. Okay, so here's the thing. You're saying you need transport to get food. Is that right? And did you, because you spoke to me privately about this, you got yourself an Airbnb where you're going, right? So that means, do you have your own kitchen there? Now, I don't know where this Airbnb is, so this could be in a rural area, or it could be, I think you said it's pretty close to downtown, if I got you right. If that is so, then the chances are you are within walking distance of places where you can get food. So your concern about, well, how do I get food? I would say, right, I wouldn't worry about that one because you can probably walk that one. Does that make sense? So your different way of getting transport is to walk. And from where you're going, all right, you've rented a bedroom, okay, but you have access to a kitchen. Good. So and I presume you'll be able to put something in a fridge or just buy fresh every day. Get out and walk and get fresh food every day. All right, so then what I would do is, in terms of food, what are you going to do the first night? All right, that would be the most difficult one. So I probably would pick up some food from the airport when you arrive. It might not be the healthiest thing, but I'd make sure I had something. Most airports have got a Subway or something where you could pick up and have a sandwich made or whatever, so that if you got hungry during the night or you got a time change going on, I would definitely pick up some stuff. I would bring some protein type bars with me. That's what I do when I'm traveling. This is about to hold me over until I can go to the shops. All right? So we know that you need some transport for food. What else do you need transport for? Sightseeing. Now, Manon, I don't know if you know, but the city you're going to, I believe, has a special pass that you can buy. All right, which allows you to get onto transport for the time that you're there for a very, very reasonable price. Do you make sense? So, plus, I believe that you know people in the area, so you probably will have a couple of people willing to be your transport for places that are more difficult to visit. Obviously, you can get to the local things by walking or taking a bus or something. But what I would do is I'd make sure that you tell your friends in that city what you would really like to do that's going to, yes, you can get a tourist pass. I actually already looked that up for you, I think. That city doesn't have Uber. And Uber can be quite expensive if you're on a limited budget. But maybe so. But the city that she's going to has really good transportation within it. That's why I want to know exactly. Manon, if you let me know if you know now exactly where that is, I will be able to give you a better idea of. I know the city fairly well that you're going to, so I'd probably be able to give you more information. So think about it, right? What things can you walk to? What things can you take a bus to? That city has a really good rapid transport system. Do you know what I mean by that? It's like the London tube system. Yeah, but it's above ground. That city has a really good system and it goes way out. And getting better every 10 years. But, so that was, that's why if you make the list of what you want to see, then people can plan ahead of time to help you get there. Makes sense? So that's what I'd be doing at night, is going, okay, fine, what do I want to see? She's not talking about it yet. She wants it to be a surprise for people. But is this making any sense to you, Manon, how to do this? And so I'd go, okay, what I would do, Manon, actually, is I'd do it this way. I'd have one page like this, and I go, what do I want to see? All right, and I'd put all the things, if you had a magic wand, these are the things that I'd like to see. All right, so let's say that city has a really good aquarium. Okay, it has a really good aquarium. However, it's in a difficult place. So you go, that's when you ask the who, what, why, where, when, and how. How am I going to get there? Let me have a look, see how far it is away from the Airbnb. All right. And so maybe you need to go there by bus. Let's say, for example, I want to tell you, in today's age, you can do everything sitting in one country and you can plan it from another. It's wonderful. We are so lucky. And then you might say, okay, fine. The other thing I want to do is I want to go. There are no pink ponies that I know of in that city. So let's say that you want to do a tour, okay? Because you found out by doing some research that there's some tours. Now, a tour is a good place to go because for one price, you might get to see 3 of the things that you wanted to see. You get the idea? So you might buy one tour for a decent price and it will take you to 3 of the things you wanted to see at far less cost. And you get to meet other people and, it's social. You can talk pink ponies and so forth. And then maybe you find another tour that covers the other 2 that you really want to see. Now, that leaves you with your friends. And your friends will probably say, yeah, but you also want to see this. You can't go to. But do you understand how mind mapping it will help? Because you can say, okay, fine, I can do this tour for, let's say, I'm going to use Canadian dollars. I can do this tour for $32. That is awesome. And I just have to get to where the tour starts and back again. So let's say that you may have to budget an extra, $20 maybe, or $10. I don't know, for that. But that's why, yeah. So that, I think, the city you're going to is a tourist. It is one of the most visited cities in the world. Probably other than, probably ahead of Paris. I could be wrong. But it's one of the most visited cities. So guess what? There are lots of tours around that city. All right. So is this helping a little bit? Can you see how mind mapping it will make it easy for you? And make it economical for you. And so what I would do is I would plan, you're there for about 2 weeks, I think. I would plan at least 2 really good tours that probably are all-day tours that take you to the major places. So when you go back, you'll be able to say, well, I saw this, and I saw this, and I saw this, and I saw this, and I understand why everybody talks about that, and da-da-da-da. Now, you may find out that you're within walking distance of 3 or 4 of the major tourist attractions that you'd like to see, all right? In which case, don't take a tour that's concentrating on those. But if you see that I'm really interested in, let me try and think. I'm really interested in seeing the outlying part, not just the main center, but the outlying part. Maybe that's where you get hold of one of your friends that lives in that city and say, hey, I've seen this, and I'd really like to go there. Is there any way that you'd be able to help me with that? Right? And most people would be more than happy. How many of you are really good about being a tour guide in your own city? Actually, yeah. So again, just start plotting it out. You've got time, even though you think you haven't. But I would take each area with your packing list. I'd go, what sort of clothes do I need? I want to tell you something, Manon. I have an ongoing packing list that not only includes my clothes, but my technical stuff. And if you would like me to share that with you, I gladly will do that. Nada, that's so cute. All right, so let me just ask you guys before we stop this, is there anybody else that's got a burning need? Do you now know how to put your goals down? And the thing is this, the more simple it is, the easier it is. All right? And if you are at all technical minded, I would definitely recommend this program because it is amazing. The only thing with me is I did so much on mine that I now need to break it out into different, one page per area because I got a little carried away. Story of my life. So, has anybody got a good news, any issue they want to discuss or anything else in the last little while before we... Well, Jody, you know, the whole thing about life is that there is a reason why I wanted to show you guys how well that works. It is probably the simplest way in the world to plan anything. And by the way, do any of you have this? I got this at a dollar store and it was really funny for which program? This one, the one that does this. It's called Free Mind, but, and it's free. Now, this is really funny. I can remember being at one December and it was really interesting to watch what was going on because the person who was running the continuity kept trying to tell people things, and there were notes being passed backwards and forwards, and people couldn't read it and everything else. And I actually said, all right, we have raised, right? And said, this is what you need. So that the people, you know, and you hold it next to the camera so the people looking at the camera can see what the total is. This is before we got really technical. But, you know, you'd be amazed how many times we got 2 of these, and you'll be amazed how many times, even with all the technology, that we still need this, that it was really amazing. Yes, I want to tell you, that's how I used to write all my speeches, Manon. Absolutely. I literally would just, you know, pick up the main points I wanted to make. How many of you know that even for a broadcast, I'm asking, who do I want to help? What is it I want to be able to teach them? Why do I want to teach them this? Where can they find help? When? How? You know what I mean? So to me, whenever I do one of these skills broadcasts, by the way, how many of you found this helpful? And would you like me to do more of this sort of thing? Kim, if you're still here, one of the things I really would recommend to you is don't give up on yourself. Right? Do not give up on yourself. So even if they, you know, don't get angry, don't get rude, just literally keep going in there and going, okay, we've tried this, this, and this, and I still have the same problem. So what is our next step? It took me 2 years to find out that I was diabetic. Now, the interesting thing is it wasn't showing up. It wasn't showing up on my tests. Why? I don't know. How is it that I had tests at the beginning of the year and it didn't show up, and by the end of the year, I'm a full-blown diabetic? I don't understand that. But somewhere or another, it happened. So there's part of me that goes, is diabetes my full thing, or is there something else going wrong as well? Oh, Jody's going to explain that to me later. Okay. Or if you can do that quickly, That's also great. So to me, let me tell you something that I learned. How many of you are surprised that at 71, I uploaded 3 new programs for me to learn this year? Well, actually, over Christmas. Any of you surprised that as a 71-year-old that I would be doing that? There's one thing I kept in my mind all my life. All right. I didn't go to university. I wasn't allowed to go. All my life, I realized that if I wanted to know anything, I was going to have to teach myself. Right. And so the one thing I've always taught people whenever I've been on stage or in a place where I can teach people is remember one thing. What you have in here is valuable. Right? What you have in here is valuable. They can't take that away until I get, if I get Alzheimer's or something, it will probably go away. But you understand, up until that point, nobody gets this. One of the reasons I wanted to do DearMamaSal is I really did believe I had a lot of tricks of the trade that would help people. I've lived 71 years. But the reason that I keep getting new programs is because I know that they must have made a program for this by now. Does that make sense? I used to do this by hand when I was doing the mind mapping thing, and I thought I really want to do something on mind mapping. I'm thinking they've probably got a program that does that now. You don't have to do it by hand anymore. And then guess what? I found one for free. Now, hello. Why would I not share that information with you? So to me, I think to continue to learn. Manon, what books are you going to read as you travel? You're going to be traveling quite a while. All right, so Jody's saying to make it short and sweet, for a time before being diagnosed, your blood sugar test can actually come back low. That's what happened to me. It's a precursor to diabetes. Isn't that the craziest thing? Wow. Yeah, so probably I was looking really good at the beginning of the year. Well, maybe that's where the glucose is being stored around the hemoglobin, Jody. And so it's not showing up until it's overload, right? So that's, I think, what my doctor was explaining to me, that for a while, your body absorbs the glucose, but it's when it's saturated that it shifts into diabetes because it can no longer carry it with it, right? It's got too much. So I thought Beth made a nice comment about it. It's like, you bought a storage locker and you filled it up, but you're still trying to put more stuff in there and there isn't a bit of room. So you're storing it outside now. Wow, that's awesome. Manon, that is wonderful. That's lots of stuff. And don't feel that you have to go out every day just because you're in a different city. All right. There's sometimes that you might just want to take a day just to be quiet, and that's okay. Yes, I want to tell you that when I was on the road a lot, when I was a speaker, Manon, in those days, we didn't have the internet the way that we do now, but I wrote books when I was sitting at airports. You know what I mean? I'd use that time waiting by writing. And I wrote a whole book just waiting in airport. I was quite surprised. Yeah, use your time well. And all right, so how many of you, I forgot to, wait 1 second. I've got to stop any minute now because my battery is running down. I got 35 minutes left. Okay. Yes, relax and do some yoga, right? You don't have to go the whole time. Make sure you pace yourself well. All right. So hopefully this has been helpful. And what I'd like to do, how many of you would like to send me the main goals that you're trying to work on so that I can keep them logged somewhere so that I can check in and see if I can help you with them? I want to tell you something. You know, that city you're going to, I don't know if you know, I think has more restaurants in it than most cities I've ever seen. Yeah, and I don't mean just expensive ones, you know, little corner coffee shops and, you know, stuff like that. I would, you know, maybe make that a mission. See how many things you can visit like that. How to live in that city on a budget. Why don't you do that? Because I'm certain you're not the only person that wants to visit that city. And you're going to learn a lot of things that are helpful. I don't know why there we go. All right, everybody. So I'm going to go back to something that Nada was talking about, which is most of us suffer from anxiety of some sort or stress of some sort. And part of what I want to do this year is concentrate on helping everybody with those anxiety issues in different ways. And what I think I might do, if you would enjoy that, is actually build a mind map of, you know, the things that we have looked at and things we might try, so that if anybody wants it, we can actually send them the mind map. Oh, the public library in that city won a huge award. It looks like a Roman Colosseum. Yeah, that is an awesome place to visit, especially, you know, when you think about the weather that you're going to have at that time of year. So, oh, you know that other city you wanted to visit? Possibly. You said to me you're going to go to this main city, but you also quite like to go and visit another city. I believe that you, if you remind me, I will send you an idea on that one. Or a couple of ideas, right, that you can think of. Yeah. Okay. So, like anything else, the way that you achieve your goals is not by doing them on your own. It's to make sure. How many of you have noticed that because I don't particularly like exercise, I found a program that will make it more fun? I also have got Lauren on board because she wants to support me, but she knows that in supporting me, she will also do more exercise, and she's doing exercise in a wheelchair. And what she found out was that program that I was talking about actually tracks wheelchair rotations. You know, and from a watch. You just, I don't know how they do it, but that's also done. So she can wheel her way. And so if any of you would like to have fitness on your goal for 2019, maybe you'd like to join us and we'll start a special group within that program where we can watch each other. I've already found it quite interesting tracking what Lauren's doing because I can see her progress. And you can also see, that she's about to hit this part of her local town. And, I found it quite interesting. And I think we'll all learn a lot about each other's environment by doing that. Like, I'm certain none of you knew about the Campbell River store. I want to tell you something, Manon. Today's technology is amazing. Yes, and that was something else, Manon, because you are visiting a city with just so much great food in it. You know, what are you going to do? I would definitely make sure that you have walking clothes with you. In other words, you know, good shoes you can walk in, even if it's pouring with rain or snowing. Oh, by the way, we had wet snow today. I looked out of the window and went, that's white and it's fluffy, but it's not going to stick. You know, and I went, oh, I didn't like that. And the other thing that I do believe is when we do it together, it's more fun, right? So if any of you want to get more fit this year and want to join us on walking your way across your town or your state or province, whatever it is for you, let us know. And what I will do is I will, you know, send you the link so you can check it out. And if you'd like to enjoy it, Kim, we've been talking about Manon's trip that she's doing mostly, and you'll be able to pick it up on the replay. Yeah, that's what I love about the replay is that, you know, anybody who really is interested, they can check it out and catch up. And, you know, if you arrived late or whatever. You need to get motivated on walking more, and you are capable of walking, right? And is walking good for asthma? I find that interesting, Nada, that you rewatch them all. Do you find that you pick up things on the replay that you didn't really notice on the first one? I want to tell you something. The weather's pretty bad here. You know, we as you probably know. So what do you consider bad weather? Is that snow, cold, ice, rain? What's bad weather? Because I have all sorts of ideas for walking, even though the weather is bad. Most places I know that have snow and cold and ice have a group of people who meet at the local mall early in the morning and go walking around the mall before they open up. I'm amazed how many, if you go to a mall around about 8 o'clock in the morning, you'll be amazed how many people are walking around power walking around the mall. It's heated. The malls are big. You know what I mean? You can do a couple of laps around inside of a mall and get some really good exercise in. Plus, it's got washrooms if you need them. You know, and by the time, you know, they open up, you've got coffee and a snack if you want it. So to me, I had a friend who lived in Maine, and that's what he did whenever he needed to get some exercise. And you know what the weather can be like in Maine. You know, whenever he needed to get exercise, he just went to the mall. You don't have a mall in your area at all. What about... All right. So, Kimmy, here's what your major goal is going to be for 2019. Get a piece of paper and a pen ready to take it down. Let me know when you've got it. And I will tell you what it is. Yes, Manon, I'm amazed how many people do it in my city. Okay, Kim, I'm going to help you with this if you'd like me to. I want you to stop with the reasons why you can't do things. That is the one thing that I noticed with you. You are always giving me a reason why you can't do it. the weather's too bad, I'm too sick, da, 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 da. I want you in 2019 to keep asking yourself, what can I do? If you can change that one thing in your mind, you will have an incredibly happy and healthy year. You know, you let your mind stop you from doing, oh, well, I go out and walk, but the weather's too bad. I'm sure that if I paid you $1 million to go and take some exercise tomorrow, you would find a way of doing it. So don't tell me what you can't do. How many of you need that in your lives? I really recommend this year that you all do that. Stop telling yourself what you can't do. All right? Keep asking yourself, what can I do? All right, Jody wanted to support Lauren and myself. All right, this was really interesting. I needed to go walking. Lauren said she wanted to support me, so she's going to do the same thing, but she's going to wheel her way around. And then Jody said she was prepared to do the arm rolls to get the exercise and support us. Does that make sense? And so what I will do, if you like, Jody, is I will find out how many steps the arm rolls use on my body, all right, because I got the way of tracking that. And then you can actually plug yours in. All right, so Kimmy, do I have a deal? We, as a group of people who want to support you, are going to pull you up every time you tell us what you can't do. The yeah, but. Get rid of the yes, but. If you do that this year, Kim, your life is going to change dramatically. Don't concentrate on what you can't do. Jody will tell you that when you concentrate on what you can do, it changes your life, however simple that is. What were you thinking, Manon? You could actually. What are you thinking? You've got other ones where you can actually walk and it will record where you've been. But I wouldn't do that because it actually tells people where you're living. So that to me is not one that I would use and share. That's why a virtual one works better for me. But what you might do is actually use one of those and take pictures. So when you come back, you can show where you've been and what it looked like. I have to go because my battery is running out. I clean forgot to plug in my computer and the charger is in the other room. Yes, Jody, I knew that it would help you. And I want to tell you, if I concentrated on what I couldn't do, I would be a very sad person today. So I don't do that. I say, oh, I'm feeling too tired. Well, okay, fine. What can you do? Right? Even if it's one small thing, what can you do? Oh, I don't feel up to it today. Okay, fine. But you don't have to do everything. What one thing can you do? That's what my whole time, that's what I'm saying to myself. That sounds fun. I'm certain there are other people that would like to do that. Do you have a virtual reality mask? Yes, Manon. And that's why would you like to join us, Manon? I mean, because I think you would really put on a lot of steps with your travels coming on. I'm walking my way back to health. That's what I've called it. And I am prepared to actually. It's telling me my battery's running out. All right, guys. So we will see some of you this evening. And Just write to me, Nada, and what I will do is, if some of you would like to do that, I think there's a way that we can all get together, for example, and walk as a group, even, where we keep adding on, that we can walk our way all over the place. So, all right. So big hugs, everybody. Thank you for your time. Remember, plot your life out. If you don't have a dream, how are you going to have a dream come true? And if you don't put your goals down on paper, you're just wishing. You're not doing it. All right, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for being here. I hope this has helped. Yes, that's a very good idea, Kez. And Manon, did you see that? Where it actually, you'll be able to be in that city and it will show you how you can walk to the various places that you might want to see. Very good idea, Kez. Thank you for that. That's what I love about group brainstorming, is because what happens is everybody's got a little bit of input and it all ends up being so useful for people. Kimmy, that sounds wonderful. Keep doing what you're doing and keep asking yourself, what can I do? Right? Let me give myself a bonus point. Yes, did I do some exercise today? Check. Did I keep a good, healthy attitude today? Check. I would ask myself these questions, especially those of us who are physically or medically challenged. All right, do the best you can, and you will have a happier life. All right, everybody, look after one another. But as usual, please, 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 remember to look after yourself, because if you don't look after you, who's going to do it for you? This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for your time. The Christmas tree will not be here next week. For now.